As the great Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the strong one is not the one who defeats others in wrestling. The strong one is the one who controls himself when he is angry. Subhanallah. My beloved brothers and sisters, how many times has anger stolen your peace? How many moments of regret began with just one outburst? And how often do we blame others for the fire that actually burns within us? Today I want to speak to your heart. Not just about controlling anger, but understanding it, breaking free from it. Because anger is not just an emotion, it is a test, a trap from Shaytaan. And a moment that could either raise you in the eyes of Allah or ruin everything you've built. You will walk away with the tools, the mindset and the spiritual strength to say, I choose peace over rage, I choose saber over shouting, I choose Allah over my ego. Let's begin. 1. Anger is from Shaytaan, and Shaytaan loves to destroy what you love. 1. Anger is from Shaytaan, and Shaytaan loves to destroy what you love. My beloved brothers and sisters, the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, alayhi wasallam clearly warned us, anger is from Shaytaan. And he explained that Shaytaan was created from fire. Think about fire for a moment. What does it do? It burns, it spreads, it destroys without mercy. It doesn't care if it burns your home, your belongings, or your loved ones. That is exactly what Shaytaan wants to do to your life when you become angry. When you allow anger to take control of you, you're not just feeling an emotion, you are actually stepping into a dangerous place. You are giving Shaytaan the steering wheel to your actions. He wants you to shout, he wants you to break things, he wants you to hurt others with your words. Why? Because when you do that, you damage the most valuable things Allah has given you, your peace, your family, your dignity, your faith. Shaytaan doesn't want to take away just one moment from you. He wants to ruin your day, your relationships, and even your connection with Allah. And anger is one of his easiest tools. It starts with one small spark. Maybe someone says something rude or something doesn't go your way, and suddenly your whole inner world is on fire. But my brothers and sisters, remember, this is not a moment of strength. This is not courage. This is a test. Shaytaan is watching. He's waiting for you to lose control so he can win. And when you explode in anger, you're not just reacting to someone else, you are surrendering to your enemy. That's why the wise believer doesn't act on anger. The believer pauses, reflects, seeks protection from Allah. Because we know that every time we hold our tongue, every time we walk away, every time we choose patience instead of rag away, are defeating Shaytaan. So the next time anger starts to rise in your chest, stop and remind yourself, this is not me. This is not from Allah. This is from Shaytaan, and I will not let him burn what Allah has blessed me with. Or 3. Silence is strength, and the sunnah responds to rage. My dear brothers and sisters, when a person becomes angry, their voice often rises, their words become sharp, and their heart becomes restless. But the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, alayhi wasallam, who had the best character in all of creation, taught us something very powerful and beautiful. When you are angry, stay silent. Why did he teach us silence in that moment? Because silence is protection. When you're angry, your tongue becomes dangerous. It can say things in seconds that can break someone's heart for a lifetime. And once those words are out, you can't take them back. You can apologize, but sometimes the damage is already done. Anger is like a wave. It comes fast and strong. But if you stay silent, that wave passes and you are still standing in peace. But if you speak during that wave, you might drown yourself and hurt others around you. That's why silence in anger is not weakness. It is a sign of strength and wisdom. Silence in that moment says, I fear Allah more than I want to satisfy my ego. It means you are choosing your akhirah over a few seconds of pride. It means you are not letting Shaytaan use your mouth as a weapon. That's powerful. That's victory. And remember this. The Prophet Sallallahu, alayhi wasallam never shouted, never cursed, never insulted others out of anger. Even when he was wronged, he responded with calmness and dignity. That is the sunnah we must follow. So my brothers and sisters, when the fire of anger begins to rise in your heart, pause. Don't rush to speak. Don't try to win the argument. Instead, close your mouth, take a deep breath and ask yourself, will these words please Allah or will they please Shaytaan? Sometimes the best response is no response. And sometimes the greatest strength is found in the quietest moments. 4. Change your position and Allah will change your condition. My beloved brothers and sisters, anger is like a storm. It rushes through your body, tightens your chest and clouds your thinking. And when you're in that state, Shaytaan wants you to act quickly, recklessly and regretfully. But our beautiful Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, alayhi, wassallam gave us a simple, powerful method to calm ourselves before anger takes over. He said, if one of you becomes angry while standing, then sit down. If the anger goes away, then good. But if it does not go away, then lie down. Now you might ask, why change your physical position? Because your body and your emotions are deeply connected. When you're standing, you feel ready to fight. Your posture is tense. But when you sit down, your body becomes more relaxed. And if you lie down, you can't argue, shout, or attack. The physical change sends a message to your heart. Calm down, let go, choose peace. It's not just a physical act, it's a spiritual practice. It shows humility. It shows that you are willing to step back rather than escalate. And most importantly, it reminds you that controlling anger is more important than winning any moment. This advice is not just theory, it's real. Try it the next time you feel anger rising. You'll be amazed at how quickly your body begins to relax, your heart begins to soften, and your mind begins to clear. That small step can prevent a huge mistake. You see, when you change your position, you are not just sitting down, you are taking control of the situation. You are choosing self-restraint over emotional reaction. You are turning away from Shaytaan and turning toward Allah. So the next time someone angers you, don't stand tall in pride. Sit down in humility, and if needed, lie down in silence. That simple shift might save your marriage, protect your friendships, preserve your dignity, and most importantly, earn you the pleasure of Allah. 5. Make wudu, let the fire be washed away. My beloved brothers and sisters, anger is not just a feeling, it's a fire. It starts in the chest, climbs to the face, and spreads to the tongue and hands. Your breathing changes. Your voice rises. Your eyes narrow. Your heart races. That's not just emotion, that's Shaytaan trying to ignite your soul. But alhamdulillah, our beloved Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, alayhi, wassallam gave us a remedy. He said, indeed, anger is from Shaytaan, and Shaytaan was created from fire. So when one of you becomes angry, let him make wudu. Why wudu? Because just as fire is extinguished by water, the fire of anger is extinguished by the coolness of ablution. It's not only about washing your hands or face, it's about washing away the rage that wants to take control of you. When you leave the room and walk to the sink, you're already taking the first step in defeating Shaytaan. You're stepping away from the argument, away from the shouting, away from the moment that could destroy a relationship or damage your dignity. And as you turn on the water and begin saying Bismillah, something beautiful begins to happen. As the cool water touches your hands, imagine it washing away the urge to strike. As it passes over your face, imagine it softening your expression and bringing back your smile. As you rinse your mouth, imagine it silencing the words that could have caused pain. And as you wipe your head and feet, imagine it grounding you, bringing you back to your senses, back to your purpose, back to your calm. You see, wudu isn't just a physical act, it's a spiritual detox. It purifies your limbs, yes, but it also calms your soul. It reminds you that you are a servant of Allah, not a servant of your emotions. Shaytaan wants you to act in the heat of the moment. He wants you to speak without thinking. He wants you to regret what you do. But the one who makes wudu is saying, I will not fight fire with fire, I will put it out with faith. This simple act has saved many marriages, mended many friendships, and protected many reputations. Because once the fire of anger dies down, your heart begins to see clearly again. You remember your values. You remember your akhirah. You remember your Lord. So my dear brothers and sisters, don't wait until it's too late. The next time you feel your blood boiling, quietly excuse yourself, go to the bathroom, make wudu slowly, mindfully, gratefully. And while you're doing it, ask Allah, Ya Allah, purify me inside and out. Cool my heart. Remove the anger. Replace it with mercy. This is not weakness, it's wisdom. This is not running away, it's rising above. And when you respond to fire with water, to rage with calmness, and to shaitan with remembrance, then truly you are walking the path of the Prophet Sallallahu, alayhi, wassallam. 6. Your response in anger defines your ahlak. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the greatest gifts Allah has given us is the ability to control our character. It is what separates us from animals. It is what lifts a believer in the sight of Allah. And at the heart of good character, true akhlaq, is how we respond in moments of pressure, pain, and provocation. Anyone can be polite when life is easy. Anyone can smile when they are praised or treated kindly. But your true manners, your real character are revealed when you are angry, when someone disrespects you, when you feel misunderstood, hurt, or attacked. That's the moment where your akhlaq is put to the test. The Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, alayhi, wassallam was the most insulted man of his time. He was called a liar, a madman, a poet. He was mocked, ignored, boycotted, even physically attacked. And yet, never once did he lose control. Never once did he shout in rage or curse others out of anger. Why? Because his mission wasn't to react. This mission was to reflect the mercy of Allah. And he taught us that the best among you are those who have the best character, not the loudest, not the strongest, not the one who wins every argument, but the one whose heart remains clean, whose words remain kind, and whose anger never causes destruction. Think about this. When you become angry and respond with harsh words, with insults or violence, what are you really showing the world? You may think you're defending your honor, but in reality, you're letting Shaytaan expose your weakness. You're letting your ego lead, not your iman. Every time you lose your temper, you damage something valuable. You might say something your spouse never forgets. You might frighten your child in a way that scars them. You might humiliate someone in front of others and then regret it for the rest of your life. But on the other hand, when you feel anger but hold it back, Allah raises your status. When you want to answer with harshness but choose silence or kindness, the angels record that moment as strength, not weakness. That is when you truly resemble the Prophet Sallallahu, alayhi, wassallam. And remember, people will not always remember what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. If you made them feel small, humiliated, or afraid with your words, those wounds may take years to heal. But if you made them feel respected even when they were wrong, subhanallah, that moment may turn their heart back to Allah. So my brothers and sisters, ask yourself honestly, who am I when I'm angry? Do I reflect the sunnah? Or do I become someone unrecognizable? Because your character in anger is your real character. And your akhlaq is your passport in the akhirah. The Prophet Sallallahu, alayhi, wasallam once told his companions, nothing is heavier on the scale of a believer on the day of judgment than good character. Not your wealth, not your physical strength, not even how loud your voice was in the argument, it's your character. So the next time you feel your anger rising, pause and think, this is my moment to prove who I really am, not to the world, but to Allah. And if you respond with patience, with calmness, with dignity, then congratulations, you passed the test. And you walked in the footsteps of the Prophet Sallallahu, alayhi, wasallam. 7. Anger is a door to regret, and regret is a heavy burden. My beloved brothers and sisters, how many times in your life have you said something in anger then wished you could take it back the very next minute? How many nights have you spent feeling guilty for how you shouted at your mother, your child, your spouse, or even a stranger? How many tears have been shed because a moment of anger caused a lifetime of hurt? This is the painful truth. Anger opens the door to regret. And once you walk through it, coming back is not so easy. Anger might only last a few seconds, but the damage it leaves behind can last a lifetime. And regret is not just a feeling. It is a heavy burden that sits on your chest, whispers in your mind, and reminds you of the words you said and the people you hurt. It eats away at your peace and fills your heart with sadness. A father might regret the way he shouted at his daughter on a stressful day. A wife might regret throwing hurtful words at her husband in a moment of frustration. A son might live with pain for insulting his mother in anger, long after she's gone. And these regrets don't come because you are evil. They come because in that moment of rage, you allowed your emotions to overpower your faith. You allowed Shaytaan to use your tongue as his weapon. And now, you are left to pick up the broken pieces. But Islam is a religion of mercy, of healing, and of prevention. The Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, alayhi, wassallam gave us tools to avoid this pain in the first place. He taught us to stay silent, to change our position, to make wudoo, to seek refuge in Allah, and to walk away from the heat of the moment. Because once the damage is done, the words can't be unsaid. And while forgiveness is possible, scars don't always disappear. A slap can be forgiven, but the memory stays. A harsh insult can be apologized for, but it still echoes in the heart. This is why the believer guards the tongue, especially in anger. Because we know that a single sentence spoken without thinking can destroy years of love, trust, and respect. And fixing something broken takes more time than protecting it in the first place. So my brothers and sisters, the next time you feel anger rising like a fire in your chest, remember this: do not speak just because you feel powerful in that moment. Ask yourself a simple question: will I regret these words tomorrow? If the answer is yes, then choose silence. Walk away, take a deep breath, make wudu, cry if you must, but don't speak in a way that causes pain. Because words are like arrows. Once they are released, they cannot be taken back. You can say sorry, but sometimes sorry cannot undo the damage. And that is a regret that you will carry sometimes for the rest of your life. The Prophet Sallallahu, alayhi, wassallam said, whoever controls his anger when he has the power to act upon it, Allah will fill his heart with peace and contentment on the day of judgment. Allahu Akbar, what a reward for restraint. Let us not be people who speak and regret. Let us be people who pause, reflect, and protect our hearts from shame. And if you have hurt someone in the past, out of anger, go to them. Apologize sincerely. Seek their forgiveness before it's too late. And seek Allah's forgiveness with tears and humility. Allah is the most merciful. He forgives all who sincerely turn to Him. But don't wait, because you never know which moment may be your last. So remember, anger is a doorway. You can either walk through it into darkness and regret, or you can close it with patience and walk toward peace. The choice is always yours. 8. Seek refuge in Allah, because only He can control the heart. My beloved brothers and sisters, at the center of every emotional battle you face, whether it's sadness, anxiety, or anger, there is one ultimate truth: you cannot control the heart alone. It is only through the help of Allah that the heart finds peace, and only through His mercy that you can truly rise above your inner struggles. And when it comes to anger, this becomes even more important. You may try to stay silent, you may try to walk away, you may take a deep breath, but what if the storm inside you still rages? What if your chest still feels tight, your mind still races, and your hands still tremble with frustration? That is the moment when you must turn your heart entirely toward your Creator and say, A'udhu billahi minash shaytanir rajim. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Shaytaan. This is not just a phrase, it is a lifeline, a shield, a weapon given to you by the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, alayhi, wassallam to protect your soul when it is under attack. Because yes, when you are angry, you are under attack. And it's not just from the outside, but from within. Shaytaan uses that moment to try to disconnect you from Allah, to make you act in ways that destroy your dignity and damage your deen. But when you sincerely seek refuge in Allah, something powerful happens. You remind yourself that you are not in control, Allah is. You admit your weakness, and in doing so, you gain His strength. You submit your heart to the one who created it. And the one who created your heart knows exactly how to calm it. The Prophet Sallallahu, alayhi, wassallam told us that Shaytaan flows through the human being like blood. That means he's always looking for an opening, a moment of weakness, a crack in your character. And anger is one of his favorite doors. But when you say, A'udhu Billah, it's as if you slam that door shut in his face. You declare with your soul, I belong to Allah, not to Shaytaan. I will not be his tool today. And this is why remembrance of Allah dhikr is so important, especially in moments of anger. When you're angry, say, Subhanallah. Remind yourself that Allah is perfect and we are not. Alhamdulillah. Be grateful that you have a chance to hold back and be forgiven. Astaghfirullah. Seek forgiveness for even the thoughts that crossed your mind in anger. La ilaha illallah. Remind yourself that your ego is not your God, Allah is. Brothers and sisters, no matter how many books you read or techniques you try, if you do not involve Allah in your journey to control anger, you will always struggle, because the heart is only healed by the one who made it. You can run from people, from places, even from your own thoughts, but you can never outrun what is inside you. And that's where only Allah can help. So the next time anger begins to rise in your chest, don't just clench your fists open your heart. Turn to Allah in that very moment. Even if it's just a whisper, say, Ya Allah, help me. Protect me from Shaytaan. Don't let me ruin what you have blessed me with. Make it a habit. Train your soul to always return to Allah when tested, because He hears the whisper of your heart even before your tongue moves. And He knows the fire you are fighting inside, even if no one else does. And here's the beautiful part. When you make Allah your refuge, He becomes your shield. When you make dua in anger, He rewards you for restraint. And when you cry out to Him instead of shouting at others, He replaces your rage with mercy, your restlessness with calm, and your burden with light. So never underestimate the power of saying, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. It's not just a sentence, it is a sword against Shaytaan and a cure for your soul. Use it. Live by it. And you will begin to see that even in your most difficult moments, Allah is always near and He is always enough. My beloved brothers and sisters, anger is not just a quick feeling, it is a test. A moment that reveals the truth of who you are. In that one moment, you can either rise in the sight of Allah or fall into regret that may haunt you for years. Shaytaan wants you to explode. He wants you to destroy your peace, your relationships, your dignity, and your akhirah all in one moment of rage. But you are not helpless. You have the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, alayhi, wassallam. You have the remembrance of Allah on your tongue. You have the power of silence, the beauty of wudoo, the strength to walk away, and the wisdom to pause. You are stronger than your anger, not because of your ego, but because of your faith. Every time you choose patience over shouting, every time you hold back your tongue when you could have insulted, every time you step away and seek refuge in Allah instead of reacting, that is not weakness, that is jihad, and nafs, the struggle against your lower self. And in the eyes of Allah, that is more honorable than winning any argument or raising your voice. So the next time anger visits your heart, don't welcome it. Recognize it, resist it, replace it. Say to yourself, this is from Shaytaan, and I will not let him control me. I am a servant of Allah. I choose sabr, I choose mercy, I choose peace. And trust me, the more you practice this, the more your heart will soften, the more your relationships will heal, the more your soul will feel light, and most importantly, the more Allah will love you. May Allah protect us from the traps of Shaytaan. May He fill our hearts with calmness, our homes with peace, and our tongues with kindness. And may He make us among those who are praised on the day of judgment, not for what we built with our hands, but for what we held back with our hearts. Ameen. Wa assalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.